Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Creature Culture. The first and probably the most awkward, hopefully. The other ones will have less note glancing, maybe better audio, better lighting, who knows. So my name is Haley, and this is my co-host.
Hi, I'm Locke, and we both currently work as domestic and exotic animal care specialists. So, why are we making this podcast? Well, because of our field, we see a lot of underlying issues within our field of not only people working, but also animal culture itself when it comes to their care. So, when I say animals, I don't mean the pet industry as just dogs and cats. I mean all animals that are listed as a species. And we are going to be talking about all the issues affecting the animals and the people working in the fields.
Yeah, so we're really hoping to have the podcast catered mainly towards people who are related to the various and variety of animal industries, like people who work with animals in both a professional and personal capacity. So we're not here just to like shit on pet stores for 2 hours. Like, we know pet stores are bad, we know they have their issues, but we also accept that people work there, they're trying to do their best, and there's a lot of issues there. And we're also not a care guide. Want to go too in depth on husbandry. We are going to feature husbandry and debates and things like that as it applies or relates to the animal industry, but it's not going to be our main focus. And as for censorship, Locke,
we are not considering ourselves to be a family-friendly channel. No. I'm not saying we're going to be cussing a storm, but we are for sure not here to cater to children.
Yes.
If you want to find family-friendly related content, there's tons of that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Not that.
Exactly. Like, family-friendly and dog groomers never mix. So if we're going to have dog groomers on the podcast, there will be swearing. And, let's be honest, sometimes dog toys look like dildos. These are all hot button issues we will cover.
Of course.
Where are we?
Topics that we will cover. It's craziness. There's so much to talk about. We got currently the pandemic happening right now. We're actually going to have a whole series on that. That is the biggest discussion to talk about. We got, why are we owning pets? Should we own pets? When it comes to owning pets, what is considered animal hoarding? The discussion of animal hoarding. When it comes to animal hoarding, we could talk about YouTubers, pet tubers. And then when we talk about social media, we got social justice warriors and crazy people that are on these social media platforms when it comes to animal care. Right, that's been talking to you, Facebook. When it comes to Facebook communities, we got a lot of people working under corporate companies. Both me and Haley here can relate to this, and
yes.
We got some struggles, we got some experiences we want to talk about. And if we want to talk about a little bit something more detailed and a little more niche, we got exotic animals. How exotic is too exotic?
How exotic is Joe Exotic?
How exotic is Joe Exotic?
Shout out.
Yes. Shout out. We will get to him too eventually. Little sneak peek.
Someday.
Yeah, and we got some environmental issues. We can talk a little more psychology-wise on putting your pride aside. We can talk about really hard discussions, such as rescuing, rehoming.
Rescuing, breeding, buying, all of those things. And that kind of goes into who we're going to feature on the podcast, because we're also going to have a variety of different guests and professionals that we interview. So that will feature breeders, groomers, rescuers, trainers, people who work in the veterinary industry, people who work in the pet store industry, people who work at zoos, people who work with wildlife, people who have their own independent indie animal companies, and also from our own viewers who we will hopefully have at some point, like stories, call-ins, things like that. So stay tuned if you want to share. There'll definitely be a lot of opportunities for that. So to go into a little bit more about who we are.
Haley, who are you?
I'm
Why
Haley.
Do you matter?
I know, I matter because, okay.
Not philosophically, but why do you matter in this podcast? Why are we the ones discussing this podcast?
All right, so to give a bit of background on me, I started working in the animal industry at age 14. I started working at a pet groomer's. I started sweeping all the hair off the floor, and then eventually started washing dogs, doing minor haircuts. We also would cut the nails of guinea pigs, rabbits, birds, things like that. I've owned animals all my life, and I've loved them my whole life. So right now, I work at a vet clinic, an exotic vet clinic, as a assistant and receptionist. And I've also worked at a pet store for 3 years. I've done volunteer work for a parrot sanctuary as well, which included a lot of public outreach and education. I've worked with all kinds of animals, ranging from like small domestic animals, zoo animals, wildlife, birds of prey, things like that. So I've owned a lot of animals instead, but right now, as you can see, I only own really reptiles, which is why it's so quiet and peaceful in my room, and why there's a lot of electricity being used.
You look like you
can
got a
tell
rave behind you.
Yeah, my big rave back here. So right now I'm not in school. I have done like a film program before and stuff, but I want to go into a vet tech program, hopefully graduate from that. And after, I would like to maybe take zoology or something of that nature. And my main goal overall would be to work either in a zoo or somewhere in the exotic veterinary world, and also do work with animal outreach, media, and public education and things like that. So on to you, Locke, with your life story.
Yes, me, Locke. Yes, my name is Locke. Let's acknowledge that first.
Yes.
Right. I've been working at a pet store for 4 years now. I work on the side as a volunteer to many different rescues and adoption centers, ranging from reptiles to rabbits to rodents to dogs to cats, to even wildlife centers, parrots. I don't own all these animals though, so I'm pretty limited with what I got too. I got some rodents, mostly guinea pigs. I got some fish, and I got a crap ton of lizards, and I got one dog, who I love very much. I've had animals for a while, kind of like your average kid. Someone had a fish tank as a kid, right? That, but I actually got into beer drinking when I was 16, and then a few years later, I went into a pet store to learn more about it, and then therefore I met Haley. And so I'm not going into a profession when it comes to animal care for my education, but it is something I do want to do eventually. So right now I'm in my studies for linguistics, but I do my own business when it comes to exotic animal care here. I have my own boarding business right now for specifically exotic animals. I'd like to eventually grow this and then eventually hopefully add more businesses into this. So a common goal that me and Haley share is eventually having our own pet store. So doing it right, showing people how it's supposed to be done.
Only selling good products.
Exactly. Just
things like that.
The stuff we can do, the potential.
The noble goals.
Exactly. So I would love to have that eventually impact the world too, right? So this is going to be a lot of our discussions too, is how we're going to be impacting people, not only with this podcast, but it's about you guys sharing what you hear too. And it's going to be really big topics. It's life
for sure.
Topics.
Yeah, so the next episode coming up we're going to do is going to feature a lot on the recent pandemic layoffs that has been impacting and affecting a lot of the pet industry, especially pet stores and stuff like that. So we're going to be hearing from some of our listeners on that topic. And if you would like to write in, our email will be in the description below. So you can just send us an email if you're interested, and we'll get back to you with all the details. So for the podcast, I think we're kind of hoping like mid-May as a launch date, depending on how things go. But yeah, we'll definitely keep you posted. And thanks everyone for tuning in, I guess. I don't know if there's really anything else to go over. I think that kind of covers it.
You will see our lovely faces soon.
Yeah.
And I hope to hear from you guys soon. Please send us any stories that you have to our email. Lots of discussions.
Yeah, the crickets are starting to scream now in the background, so I think it's probably time to call it a night. So good night, everyone. We hope to hear from you, and keep tuned for more information. All right, stay safe, guys.
All right,
Don't cough on each other.
Bye.
Bye.